Hello and welcome back to the deck box, everybody. Today we're going to be looking at a new, very, very tasty, sweet deck that I saw on the Magic Show, and I'll link to that show here. They sort of talked about it for just a second, and I wanted to really delve into it. Get it, people? Get it? Delve? Because it's a Delver deck. Anyways, this one is Bant Delver by Brandon B, or at least played by Brandon B. I'm not sure who developed it. But it is tasty, sweet, new tempo deck because we were not seeing any tempo over the past little while that I know of. So here we are. We have 15 creatures, 23 spells, 22 lands, and the 15 creatures go a little like this. We have 4 Delvers, so they can flip nice and early with our 23 spells, which is it's an instant or sorcery about 1/3 of the time on your draw, which is pretty okay. Korean Dryad, which we'll get back to. This curl has lots of uses in this deck. Snapcaster Mage, which is just essentially 4 more spells of like all of these that you're going to be playing all the time. And Geist of Saint-Traft. Obviously, in a tempo deck, you just want to get your Geist of Saint-Traft on the board and get them in as many times as possible. And all your spells let you do that. So let's take a look at those spells. Azorius Charm. So when you're swinging with your Geist of Saint-Traft, most of the time this card's last ability is going to come in the most, putting the attacking or target attacking or blocking creature on top of its owner's library. What it lets you do is you swing in with your Geist of Saint-Traft, you then pop their guy up into their hand, and is friggin' fantastic, because then your 4/4 still gets in the air, and it's awesome. The first ability on this card won't come in that often at all, the lifelink part. I've barely ever used that ability, but if you get into a part where you just need to stabilize because your opponent's playing, red deck wins or something, and they've got a little bit of damage which can kill you, this card's going to be great for you. And the second ability comes in pretty often as well. It's, when you don't need to do anything really, if your opponent's not doing much and you just want to get into some more spells, just draw a card at the end of their turn. It feels pretty good. Second one here, Rapid Hybridization. Can't say enough about this card. It's a bit of a trick for newer players because it doesn't look great. A 3/3, you're giving them a creature to destroy their card, but it's 1 blue, people, and it's instant, and it's really, really good against bigger, more important creatures, right? Creatures that have a lot of rules text. This one gives them a vanilla creature with no rules text. And that's the real thing going on here. Also, it lets you get in with Geist of Saint-Traft again. So, you swing through Geist of Saint-Traft, they block with their guy, you rapid hybridization their guy, destroys their creature, they get another creature, and your Geist of Saint-Traft stays alive, your 4/4 gets through in the air. And that's what it's all about, just getting your 4/4 through in the air. If Geist of Saint-Traft can get through as well, it's just a bonus. But also, the creatures that you're going to be trying to get rid of with rapid hybridization are those guys that are just like, bombs, right? So you've got 2 of in this deck. 2 of rapid hybridization. So you're going to be using it when you really need it. Getting rid of cards like Olivia Voldaren or like Drogskull Reaver, or like any of these cards that just like need to die. And then the next one you've got here is just super, super tasty, sweet. Love it. It is Simic Charm. Simic Charm is just gross. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn, and you can use that on your Geist of Saint-Traft to get him through again. Most of these cards are just making sure your Geist of Saint-Traft get through. It could bump your Delver for a bit of extra damage, or really any of them for a bit of extra damage to win the game. It's like a Searing Spear or whatever to finish the game with the 3 damage. Or the second part here is probably the best part on this card. Actually, they're all very good. But the second part is you gain creature gains hexproof till end of turn. Whoa! No, permanents you control gain hexproof till end of turn. Way better. So yeah, everything you have is hexproof till end of turn, and it's huge. It's enormous because it gives you this awesome protection. So Delver's an awesome target for removal. And if you just need to get in for the last bit of damage, they try to remove your guy, you hexproof it, you win. It feels very good. The last one here, again, just more bounce, which is just huge for this deck. You want to just keep bouncing their defenders out of the way, getting your guys in. So that's very, very good as well. Spell Rupture is very, very dirty, and we'll talk about it in a second with Korean Dryad. But we're going to keep going on here for a second. We'll come back to it. Sphinx's Revelation. When you get to a point in the game where you're starting to stall out a little bit, Sphinx's Revelation puts you right through it. So I like that there's 1 of in this deck. You don't need a bunch, because this deck is actually a little bit more aggressive than most of the control-y type decks we've seen lately. So you just need the 1, but it's still, I like that it's here. 2, Think Twice, again, just drawing you into cards, keeping you going. You want to keep going in this deck. Keep having your hand pretty full so you can deal with all these different cards. Thought Scour, same thing. Just keep putting cards in your hand, but also putting creature or spells into your graveyard as well to give your Snapcaster Mage additional targets, which is going to help you out a lot. And Unsummon, just really awesome card. It's instant, 1 mana. He puts a target creature into his owner's hand, and it's just removal, people. Like, that's all it is. It's making them keep play their guys out just so that you can keep bouncing them and getting in with your guys to Saint Draft. That's what this tempo deck is all about. And then the last one here is Hands of Binding, and now I'm going to talk about Hands of Binding and Spell Rupture together with Carrion Dryad. So, you're on your turn. You've got a Carrion Dryad. You played it like last turn. It's like a 1/1. It's crappy, whatever. So you play Hands of Binding, which is a blue spell, which means that Carrion Dryad gets a +1/+1 counter. And then you cipher it to your Delver. Your Delver gets in, so Hands of Binding gets to tap down another creature, because you're casting a copy of that spell now. But since you cast a copy of Hands of Binding, which is blue, your Carrion Dryad gets another +1/+1 counter, and is now a 3/3 for one spell. So yeah, it's just gross. And then every turn when you get to swing, you're getting your Carrion Dryad another +1/+1 counter, or you're putting down another blocker that can't block. It's freaking fantastic in this deck. I'm really stoked to see this play out. And then the other thing that you need to notice there is Spell Rupture. So if your Carrion Dryad's getting huge, good luck casting any spells, people, because Spell Rupture is going to get you every time. The only time that's not going to be good is like when all your guys are dead, which can happen probably. But that's fine. I think it's totally worth it because there's going to be other times where like Spell Rupture is just going to be huge in this deck. Your Delver flips and you've already got a mana leak in your hand. That's pretty gorgeous, I've got to say. So yeah, that's basically the deck here. And the other thing to notice is Carrion Dryad. You cast a white, blue, black, or red spell. You put a +1/+1 counter on the Dryad. Well, if you'll notice here, not one of these spells are green by itself. Simic Charm is a blue spell as well as green. So, like, literally every single one of your spells will proc Dryad, which just feels friggin' fantastic. So, that's basically the deck. The lands are, as you would expect, 3 basics, and the rest just all, like, duals. Breeding Pools, Glacial Fortresses, Hallowed Fountains, Hinterland Harbors, Sandpetal Groves, and 2 Caverner Souls, just to make sure that your guys get out in case you go up against any counter. Your sideboard is kind of wonky. I'm not completely sure about all the choices in the board, but I like some of them. Runechanter's Spike, you get the win faster, I guess. Detention Sphere is for like planeswalkers, I guess. Also, like, decks with like sets of guys, or if anybody tries to like rat you or something. Aetherize, probably for some more aggressive decks. Dispel against counter, Dissipate against threats that you can't deal with when they're on the board. Like, this is pretty good against people who play Thragtusk and stuff like that. Rapid Hybridization, yeah, have another one. I don't know. It's one I'm not really sure about. Redirect, probably for decks that play a lot of removal on you. Unsummon, yeah, it's always just good to have another Unsummon. If it's working out for you the first few games, it just makes sense. Tolerant Sky Summoner kind of just goes over people, I suppose. Yeah, like maybe if somebody doesn't have like much to like deal with your Delver or something, you just put him in as like a one of and get in with like lots of 2/2s in the air. I don't know. It seems okay. And Hands of Binding, yeah. Like, I like the numbers that are already in the deck, but like maybe they need tweaking, and maybe that's why the board just kind of has extras of a lot of stuff. But yeah, overall, this deck looks really, really sweet. I wish I was playing it this Friday, but unfortunately my buddy will be playing it instead. But I'll get to watch, and it'll be great. So, yeah, this is the deck, people. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you get to check out this deck. Hopefully, you'll probably see a bit of it. Probably won't be under the radar for long, because this deck is super, super sweet. Hopefully, it's as good as it seems, I guess. But with that, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Hope you get to play some Magic. And as always, roll for choice, people. See ya.